Hey guys, Noah here. How are you guys doing today? It is currently June 8th, 2019, and as you guys see, I'm in a different jersey right now. I actually got this during last season during one of the games. This is actually an authentic Reebok jersey. The ones that they wore actually on the ice in the 16-17 season. They were getting rid of the Reebok ones, the BB&T Center, so I just like picked one up for $100. Too bad they were actually on sale on online for about like a couple months after for like 35. So kind of a bummer there. But what can you do? This is actually a very nice jersey. I actually got a couple of jerseys while I was out. I got that Jovanovski one. I got a Gabranson one over there, and I got another Fanatics one recently. So, guys, I'm racking up on the Panthers jerseys. I'll have enough room for all of them. But yeah, so this video is going over last season, the 18-19 season. Unfortunately, it was a season we did not expect. And obviously it didn't go our way like the other 19 seasons we had. But yeah, so we finished off 36, 32, and 14. We were fifth in the Atlantic and 10 in the Eastern Conference. So obviously very familiar for the Florida Panthers. Recently, they missed the playoffs by a small margin, and they ended up getting a pretty bad draft pick, as we'll be selecting 13th overall in the 2019 NHL entry draft. But personally, we got 86 points. Again, not the worst season we had, but again, we had much better expectations in the season preview I had back in August, or honestly whenever I did it. I was saying we would make it to the playoffs, and I honestly thought we would maybe get past the first round, possibly. I wasn't sure, but yeah, we missed the playoffs by a slight margin of points. We missed it by about 8 or 9 points. I have to look at the standings again. We missed it by 12 points. So I mean, critical. I mean, of course, the Panthers missed the playoffs, but what could you do? Just move on, right? I mean, hopefully they'll make the playoffs next year. But all right, so I'm gonna go over each month, and yeah. So first month of October already we get a bad start. We only got 2 wins in the whole month of October. That shootout win against the Washington Capitals and another overtime win against the New York Islanders. So again, the month of October was honestly pretty bad, and many of the games were close games in October. In October, we only lost by like 1 goal. Honestly, I mean, like all the games, like the first like 6 games, we've only lost or won by 1 goal. So they were honestly really close games. So the month of October, all right, you knew, all right, this team is not at the start that was expected, but many Panther fans were like, all right, it's still early. We're only 9 games in. Look at the 15-16 season, how bad that started. I mean, in the 15-16 season, I mean, the first like quarter of the season was bad, but then in the month of December, you guys know what happened. We started the 12-game winning streak, and then from there was history. So then November was honestly better. We actually took the Finland road trip. Not the road trip. We took the Finland trip against Winnipeg. We dropped 1 game. We won a game, and they were actually both 4-2. But then after that, we honestly just destroyed it. We got a nice 5-game winning streak, but unfortunately, we just collapsed after that. As our next 6 games, we only got 1 win. In one of the games we were playing Chicago, we were like up, and then Chicago tied the game with like a second left or something like that. So obviously a heartbreaker for the Florida Panthers. So like these are games we have to win, because at the end of the season you're down by like 2 or 3 points. Then you're looking back at these games saying, "Oh well, that sucks." I mean, like you guys need to win these games, especially like in these 1 goal situations, and when you have like you just need to play defense. All right, and I'll get to that after. Yeah, November after the 5-game winning streak, we absolutely collapsed. December, all right. December honestly started off bad. We were but in the final 8 in December, we played pretty well. We were 6-2. We only lost a few games. We lost a game against Toronto 6-1. We got blown out. I remember that game, and a game at home against Montreal. Those Montreal games. And speaking of that game, that was the very first game we've sold out in since the first regular season game we've sold out in honestly over 3 years. So Again, we got that one sellout this year. I'm pretty proud about the Panthers for that, even though it was against Montreal. But the past 2 seasons, we didn't sell out against Montreal, so, always surprises you. January was just all right. January was honestly the point where you knew the Panthers were not going to make the playoffs, because we started off January 5-2, and that is just all right, guys. We're not making the playoffs. It's time to look at Bugner's job. And so pretty much that's when everybody was starting fire Bugner, fire Capuano. McFarland was actually pretty well, because McFarland was our offensive coach. So yeah, that's when Twitter went on rampages. Everybody was saying fire Bugner. They made all these memes, these Photoshop images, things like that. So yeah, January we collapsed in January, but February we won a few games here and there, not games that will help us get into the playoffs, but just to keep us on the bare minimum. And then here we go in the month of March. We ended February, started March 0-2-4. Went on a 4-game win streak, and then after that we dropped the next 5 out of 6, and then we were mathematically eliminated as we lost against the Montreal Canadiens 6-1. So for the 20th time in franchise history, 20 seasons out of the 25 years the Florida Panthers have played, we missed the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now what do? You just look at next year. You have to improve. All right, even though we do this every single season, this team actually really needs to evaluate this offseason and just keep going, and then hope for the best. Honestly, hope for the best. So I'm just gonna go over some transactions we had this year. Trades. First trade, Michael Hutchinson. One our third string goalie for the Florida Panthers. He was traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs for a 5th round pick in 2020. Again, Michael Hutchinson was honestly, I wouldn't say a replacement for Reimer, but somebody that could help back up Reimer if he's not doing well, maybe. But no, Michael Hutchinson was honestly not the guy we all hoped. He did not play well, in my opinion, and he was just not a reliable goalie for us. So we traded him to the Toronto Maple Leafs for a 5th round pick in 2020. Again, we weren't gonna get a guy like Sparks, but again, we just need some guy just to some pick just just fill in space, I guess. So next, Alexander Petrovich to the Edmonton Oilers. Again, Petrovich was on the trade market for the past 2 seasons. I knew he was honestly going to leave. Petrovich did not have a good spot on this team. We protected him in the 2017 expansion draft, but after that he was just abysmal. He was not proactive, it seems, and just And then who we got for him was just even worse. Chris Weidman. He only played 1 game for us, and then after that he was just released. And then that sucks. And then after that we trade him to the we trade him for a 20. No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get to all this after. And we got a 3rd round pick in 2019, a conditional 3rd round pick for Petrovich in 2019. So here's the biggest trade all season. We traded Nick Bukestad and Jared McCann to the Pittsburgh Penguins for Derek Brassard, Riley Shahan, and a 2nd round pick this year and 2 4th round picks this year. Personally, I knew Bukestad was honestly going to leave since last year. All right. To be honest, Bukestad hasn't been the same honestly since we changed this. Since we got this logo. He hasn't been performing as well as he should be, as he did prior years. I remember back in the 15-16 season, 14-15 season, Bukestad was one of our best players. I mean, he led the team in goals in the 14-15 season with 22 or something like that, but he hasn't been the same, guys. Listen, the guy's 6'6". He's not aggressive on the ice. He can't score. He's not putting up the points he should be. Yes, I understand he's not a first-line guy anymore, but you have to understand he's not performing, so that was a big reason we traded him. And Jared McCann too, it's honestly sad to see him go, but again, we can't keep everybody on the team. Jared McCann was honestly, I wouldn't say he was a waste of cap space, but again, he wasn't that guy. He wasn't a Barkov, Huberdeau type player, but he's a guy to keep on the 3rd line, 4th line. So yeah, and we got Derek Brassard. We trade him to Colorado. He wasn't that great. Riley Shahan, he's average. I mean, he's not like a franchise player, but he's a guy, you know, that you could maybe rely on the third line. And just the picks, you know, their picks, whatever, build on them. And then so one of our next transactions, I already spoke about the Brassard one. We sent him to Colorado for a third round pick in 2020. Again, Brassard, you know, I mean, he's Brassard. He used to be great on the Rangers, but once he got traded to, you know, Ottawa, that's when, all right, that's it, Brassard. Sorry, buddy. It's your time's done, my dude. So next trade, Chris Weidman to Pittsburgh in exchange for John Sebastian Day. Again, Weidman again. It's Weidman, Chris Weidman. You know, I mean, he only played one game for us. Collapsed after that, so we had to trade him for someone. John Sebastian Day could be good in our farm system for next season. You know, I mean, it's always good to have a good farm system to so say if like somebody gets hurt, such as Barkov, you could bring these guys up, or move the second line guys to the first line, then, you know, bring them up. So it's always good to have good guys in the AHL system. So our final trade is we moved Bogdan Kieselewicz to Winnipeg for a 7th round pick in 2021 again. Honestly, a stupid trade. Bogdan Kieselewicz was one of our better defensemen this year, but I guess the team didn't think so, and we just traded him to Winnipeg for a 7th round in 2021. Again, just whatever. It is what it is. We can't just, like, I don't know, the team is leaning on more like Yandel, like Ekblad type players I've been seeing, because since 2016 we have a lot of offensive defensemen like players Yandel and Ekblad, so maybe they wanted to go to that approach. Who knows? I'm not behind the front office what Dale Talon's doing. So yeah, overall this season was not the season we hoped. Was it the worst season we had? Of course not, but I was honestly hoping for maybe I was thinking maybe like 95 points this year, even though 95 points would not make the playoffs. But I was thinking about just this team really needs to build on what they're gonna do next year. This free agency, this draft is really important. They have to make the right moves, because honestly, we have all the pieces. We have Joel Quenneville. We got new assistant coaches. And then we're going to start making the transactions. All right, so what are we going to do? Are we going to get new goaltending? Are we going to trade some big players? Are we going to let go some guys? We're in for a big ride. I mean, I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, we could get Sergei Bobrovsky and Panarin, but what would that mean? Will we have to get rid of Mike Hoffman? Who knows, guys? I mean, I'm in this thing as the same as you guys. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate you all. I'm back for good now. Again, I can't make. I probably won't make all 82 games next year, but I'll try to get at least some of them in. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I'm actually gonna have a new video soon about Bobrovsky and Panarin, my thoughts on it. I'm just gonna do a quick preview of that real quick. Personally, I do think we need Bobrovsky. I think he's the number one priority. Panarin, I would honestly love to have Artemi Panarin on the Florida Panthers, but he's more of honestly a want than a need, because, guys, you have to remember, our offense is there. We have Barkov, Vetrano, Huberdeau, Dadonov, Hoffman, players like that, and Panarin would be great, but he's probably going to ask for a lot of money, and that's the cap space we don't have right now, because we make stupid contracts with players like Mark Pesic and Aaron Ekblad. So, guys, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just really excited to find out. I'm sure most of you guys are. And, yeah, just, guys, enjoy your summer. I'm going to be back with quite a few videos, because I love to make videos during the off-season. And, yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, take care. Go Panthers, baby.